Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/IDontWorkHereLady. Today we have 3 stories. In the first story, someone's charging money for free parking. In the second, someone's trying to fire the boss's son. And the third story, a classic Karen. So I'm hoping for your likes, and let's get started. You don't work here, dude. This happened a few days ago, and I finally have the time to type it out. I've had I don't work here experiences, but never a you don't work here. I was helping out during a large festival a few towns over from me, basically just filling in where I was needed. Employees came from various places, but we all had the same neon green staff shirt, so it was easy to find us. A few people approached me asking why they started charging for parking. Weird because they hadn't, and I knew that because I'd just been parking people a few hours beforehand. The group told me a guy in a neon shirt told them it was $5, gave them change and everything, handed them a parking tag, then directed them to another neon shirt. I grabbed a security guard and we went over to see if we could figure out what was going on. This guy, I don't know if I should be mad or impressed. Got a neon green shirt and spray painted staff on the back. From far away, it looked totally legitimate to the point we glanced around and didn't notice him. We approached him originally to ask him if he'd seen anyone fishy around. When he looked up, I noticed a small face tattoo. Not that they wouldn't employ someone with a face tattoo, but I probably would have noticed it at the staff meeting we had the day before. After that, we noticed his homemade shirt and lack of radio or badge. Security guy S talked to him, F for fake. Later we'll meet B for boss. S, hey bud, you can't just make a shirt and start charging people to park. If you give me the money back, trash the shirt, just get out of here, I won't call the cops. F, no, John said we ran out of shirts, so he had me make one of these. John who? John, big guy, he's around here somewhere. Spoiler, there's no John. It's funny he picked that name because we did have 4 Johns the year before and it made a huge joke out of not having to figure out which John was which since we didn't have a single one. We also way over-ordered staff shirts, so we had like 30 left over. S, I know all the staff, there's no John. There are also plenty of staff shirts. One more time, give me the money back and trash the shirt. F, hey man, I don't tell you how to do your job. Don't you tell me how to do mine. S, this isn't your job. That's why I tried the easy way. It's on you now. So S called the cops and we stand by, making sure he doesn't try to charge anyone else. Made for a few amusing interactions when F tried to tell passing cars to pay, and we immediately yelled over saying there's no charge for parking. Cops come, and the boss. B, who in their right mind is charging to park? Sees F, you. Who are you? The cops walk up. Officers, this man is not on my staff yet is charging to park in my free lot. F, whoa, hey John, calm down. B gives a weird look like, who's John? You can't just call the cops every time we have a disagreement. If you're that mad I didn't order enough shirts, just fire me, damn. So me, S, and B almost at the same time say, you're not staff. This guy was kind of hilarious. Cops took him aside and he tried so hard to convince them he was staff. They asked him various questions like how he applied, how much they paid, when we started or ended, and of course he couldn't answer any of them. Luckily, since he handed out parking tags, printed at home, and stuck on cardboard, it was very easy to find out how many cars he charged and who. About 20 cars in the half hour or so he was there before we came. Had he just given up when we caught him, he wouldn't have been arrested for, there's a term for stuff like this, something like unauthorized sales. It's basically a fancy way of saying theft, but since they handed it to him under false pretenses, it's called something else. Edit. Pretty sure it's just called fraud. Gonna try to find his record to check. Edit 2. This incident they got him for fraud before he'd been charged with unauthorized presence, some term for when you're in jail already and go somewhere you shouldn't be, and intent to sell that got jumbled in my brain. Had priors, dude's gonna be locked up for a while. So B made an announcement for anyone who paid to park to come to the main entrance, managed to get everyone their money back. Pretty fun to be the guy handing people back money, but it was awkward to explain about the fake staff member. Next year, we're getting more detailed shirts, so they're harder to copy, and taking optional donations in the parking lot to give our local soup kitchen. We figure we might as well. Also gives us an excuse to keep someone stationed around where he was taking money, which was a weird turn that's not super visible from the rest of the festival. I just can't wrap my head around it. Dude put a lot of effort into faking his way into a job that probably would have just hired him. I bet he's in jail now. still saying John screwed him over. I know the boss. I will get you fired. My dad was one of the 3 bosses in a big movie theater. We, his kids, had free movie tickets, which was great. During holidays, we were there almost every day, seeing all the new movies, and of course, between movies, helping employees who were working. So it was one of these nights, I was like 15 or 16, helping out at the popcorn stand and selling candy. By preparing the orders, stocking some drinks, cleaning counters, all that stuff, I wasn't officially working there, so I wasn't allowed to use the cash register. Only the employees had access to their own portable till and had access to the cash desk itself. It was a Saturday night, so there were a lot of people. We were working on chain, not talking, when a man comes, moves the customers who were waiting in line, and asked to be served quickly as his movie was about to start. Customers grumble a little, but nobody says anything. Bad luck, the cash station's computer was frozen since a few minutes. My friend who worked officially tells him that he's not alone, that he needs to go to the back of the line to be served fairly. Of course, he goes all bat crap crazy, starts yelling at my friend like, "Who do you think you are? You are nothing. Move yourself and get my order ready, stupid girl." She's a very sensitive woman. She was 19 at the time, and I see that all the yelling is troubling her. It goes like this for 2 minutes thanks to the frozen computer. It seems like nothing, but it's a very long time. She's about to cry. So I decide to interfere, even if I wasn't allowed to do such a thing. "Sir, you're going to have to wait silently or leave. The computer's freezing. We can't do anything about it. Stop yelling, please." "And you useless kid, can't you take the order on the other cash station?" "Thanks, Captain Obvious. Didn't think about that before." "No, sir, I can't. Plus, he's a huge pain in the butt, so I don't explain why. And that's making him angrier, if it's possible." You don't know who you're talking to." "No, sir, I don't." "I know the boss here. I'll get you fired. Don't come to work tomorrow. You're fired already. I know the boss." "Not as much as I know him, sir. He's my father." He looked at me, at my friend, who's smiling now, at the customers who were making fun of him, all flustered and red, backed off and left. So I'm 27 today, and my friend is still talking about this story 10 years later. I didn't do it on purpose. I was stating the facts and nothing more. And for the backstory, when I told him the story that night, my father was mad about me because the customer is king even when he's a jerk, and because I wasn't supposed to speak for my friend. Rough night for both of us. Now we're laughing about it all together. He's retired and thinks I did great. Stephanie wants me fired from my job. So I've worked in retail before and found myself dealing with more rude people named Stephanie than Karen, so I'm going to call this woman Stephanie instead. This incident occurred at my local bargain grocery store a few hours ago, where I was buying all kinds of junk food when I saw an elderly lady who was very clearly lost. She was wandering up and down the dairy section for a good few minutes. I went up and down the whole aisle and she was still there. So I just asked her if there was anything I could help her find. Unfortunately, I asked this within earshot of Stephanie. Problem 1. This store doesn't have a very distinct color scheme for its dress code. I was wearing rather plain clothes like I normally do. If you were paying close attention, you might notice that, hey, my shirt doesn't have the name of the store on it, and all the employees' shirts do. But I doubt Stephanie was taking notes. Problem 2. I'd set down my handbasket on a shelf so I could help this elderly woman. So maybe the fact that I didn't have any groceries on me in a grocery store indicated that I was a worker instead of a customer. Whatever it was, when I was finished helping the elderly woman, Stephanie immediately started to ask me a question. I wasn't paying attention because she didn't tap my shoulder, call out to me specifically, or do the ahem thing. So I didn't realize she was talking to me until she shouted, "Hey!" I turned around and looked at a very short, very unpleasant lady. Now that she had my undivided attention, she said, "Took you long enough. I asked you a damn question. I expect an answer." Ever the non-confrontational dude, I apologized and said, "Sorry, what was the question?" "Can you scan the price on this for me?" She just shoved a package of cake mix into my hands. I chuckled a bit and just said, "No, sorry. I don't have a scanner on me. I don't actually work here, but I can get a hold of someone who does for you." Stephanie scoffed at me. "No, you do work here. You were helping someone else a moment ago. Now help me." "Oh, I was just helping her out because she seemed lost and I like helping people out." "Then why don't you help me out?" "Because I literally, physically cannot help you out with this. You're just lazy. Get me someone who will actually be helpful." Now, I wasn't too fond of pushing this lady's rude attitude on some poor minimum wage worker, but I also wanted to spend as little time within the vicinity of this woman as possible. In my quest to find an employee, I had a mini IDWHL moment myself, but eventually found a worker and brought him to aid Stephanie. Rather than interact with her one more time, I just pointed him in her general direction and let him take care of the formalities. Curiosity got the best of me. I decided to pretend to look at various pastas that I certainly wasn't going to buy, but keeping an ear on the conversation that unfolded. Stephanie. Finally, someone competent, I hope. Worker. A genuinely nice guy, I think. Haha, hope so. How can I help you? Scan this. He scanned it. Thank you. She rose her voice so loud I could hear it. I guess my cover was blown. That wasn't so hard, was it? I guess not. Your coworker there refused to help me. You should get him fired. She pointed at me. I haven't seen him around. I don't think he's my coworker. Plus, he's not wearing our outfit. I guess they do have one. Still don't know what it is, though. No, believe me, he works here. Tell your manager to have him fired. Okay. Is there anything else you needed? Oh, God bless his soul. No, that's all. So the worker left, presumably to tell his manager, who never showed up. At this point, I was genuinely impressed by this woman's ability to confidently and assertively state things she had no real knowledge about. Despite my newfound admiration for Stephanie, I decided to head in the opposite direction of her so as to avoid any further interaction. It almost worked. I didn't see her until I got in line and heard a familiar voice telling the cashier to get some guy fired. I had a feeling I knew who that guy was, so I avoided eye contact because I heard that dogs are less likely to bark at you if you don't look them in the eye. While I'm not sure how true that is, it certainly worked here. Steph got her stuff and got the hell out. I stepped up to the cashier, a woman in her mid-40s, I think, who had very clearly hated her job. Give it to me straight, boss. Am I fired? Guess so, she grumbled, not smiling at all. Well, I thought it was clever at least. Thanks for watching the video to the end. Hope you enjoyed today's stories, and we'll see you soon.